Today I wanted to discuss something with you that I find it quite spectacular because I had a meeting with a person that uh, was not really into the shape robotics case for uh, for a while and wanted an update regarding what was going on and everything because. I will not name the person. It's an important person in our case, and it will be very important soon. But basically, I was called a flat earther today. So coming from the flat Earth theory, because I this is the way I am being named in certain closed door, let's say, meetings where Thais participates and. Why is that? And I wanted to explain. And actually, it's an interesting angle because many people might have that perception. So that I'm a conspiracy theorist, flat earther kind of a person. So uh, let me explain you what this person meant. So um, in Theis's position as a bankruptcy curator, this person was trying to explain the behavior of Thais. Okay, and I will get to that point. Who believes that I'm a flat earther? So in this bankruptcy procedure, um, of course, Thais can be considered a strong, independent lawyer with a good reputation, with a good standing, the head of bankruptcy division in Kronman Reumert, an experienced lawyer, maybe not the brightest, maybe not the smartest, but still a serious lawyer. So he might have just entered into the company and as a bankruptcy trustee, as all the bankruptcy trustees go in, they know that there is a situation where the company was not liquid anymore and it has to be sold on pieces and recuperate the loss to the creditors as best as possible. And then he arrived in the middle of a shitstorm generated by me, who basically I'm throwing left and right all these kind of lawsuits against him, appeals, using procedures, talking about pump and dumps, everything just to avoid talking the most important subject of the matter, meaning that the company has become bankrupt due to lack of funding. So, or how a company gets bankrupt, maybe poor management, maybe lack of funding, maybe a combination of this. But in the end, the story it's the same, So it's a bankrupt company. So that explanation comes into a context to try to answer to some of the questions that we had regarding the fact that Thais has said in multiple interventions and creditor notes, let's say, that always he was in contact with NASDAQ and with DFSA. So, meaning that basically even this noise that we have made, that there was no communication into the market, it's a noise that it's not covered by reality, and in reality the things are totally different, and I'm the crook in this story. I'm the crazy person that just tries to throw a lot of bombs left and right, trying to cover the noise, to create noise where there should be clarity, So the very interesting part about this is because we have discussed with this person, we have discussed about the Carnegie case. And one of the more important elements here was whether the trustee, I'm still on, the PC has disconnected for a second. So whether the trustee in this situation is had an obligation. Right now, Tice as a trustee in this situation had an obligation to file a criminal complaint against Carnegie. Because there is a special article in the law of bankruptcy in which basically a trustee, curator, reconstruction lawyer, whatever, in the bankruptcy law in Denmark, in case that you have noticed some criminal activities or activities that have criminal nature, you are compelled to submit a criminal complaint to the police. And so my question was more rhetorical because this person that I was talking to is a specialist in white collar crimes in this sense. Why this already known market abuse scheme has not become a criminal complaint? And who had the obligation to submit this criminal complaint? And I was trying to accuse Tice about this. And of course, that person said that maybe Tice doesn't believe you because you are a flat earther and this is the situation. So, long story short, it's about perception. And the perception is something that I'm trying to replace with perspective, because I feel that, or we feel here that perception comes together with trust in Denmark. So, of course, I'm not the trusted party and I'm considered a crazy person for sure. And of course, I come from a part of the world where we always look at things um, in a crooked, that there is something crooked between scenarios like this one of shape, because we are used to having external forces working against, it's not conspiracy theory here, it's normal life in a country like Romania, where you see corruption operating, or different interests operating behind closed doors in such situations like ours. So I have to learn that the Danish perspective is totally different, and of course I have learned this, but I sometimes forget it. And that people are looking at things with institutions and companies having a higher grade of trust here. And then, like I said, most likely even the people that are working inside the company right now, Kronman Roymond on the Shape Robotics case, have a strong belief that I am a flat earther. But on the other hand, the reality today is that no matter if I am the crazy person in the whole scenario, I was able to prove that there was a market abuse. Shape was a victim of a market abuse. And that creates the obligation of the trustee today to file a criminal complaint against Carnegie. So no matter how we will discuss it left and right, whether it's me that has to be analyzed from a perception or a perspective way, the obligation to file a criminal complaint against Carnegie and the perpetrator of the pump and dime lies today with the trustee. Because this is the setup of the company. At this moment, we have a trustee that is in charge of the company, which is Tice. So we don't need to prove anything at this moment regarding Tice. We have just to look at the facts. So even if he's the most serious and respectable, so we're playing a little bit of a devil's advocate here, and respectable person that wants to serve the interest of the creditors in the best way possible, this theory that I am considered the flat earther, the crazy one, and he's trying to do good things, blah, blah, falls at this moment when you just look at the facts, where you have a clear case of market abuse that is not submitted to the police by the curator. And what is important here to understand is that this case brings value to the creditors. So the role of the curator is to try to look at any possible solutions to bring back value to the creditors, to have them recuperate their loss. So in the interest of the creditors, you need to follow that case, which has been proven without any sort of doubt by the DFSA that we had a case of market abuse. So the interest of ties right now, for the interest of creditors, have to be protected by ties in this direct way already. So to submit the criminal complaint, and of course to inform us that he has done that. By the fact he's not doing this is the proof itself that we have um, seeked for so many months. We were wondering left and right how we can prove that he's not compatible and he's not doing anything. We found it clearly today out of a discussion that simplified my way of thinking. It's here in front of you. We have the obligation to submit a criminal complaint, and this isn't in the interest of the creditors today. And Thais, as curator today, is not submitting that criminal complaint. He doesn't talk anything about that, and that criminal complaint also would bring him money. So that's very interesting because Thais will get paid if he wins the criminal complaint against Carnegie. But then the question remains, how can Thais go against his company? Because Thais, by defending the interests of Shape Robotics creditors, he will go against the interest of his company, in the sense that Kroman Reumert is one of the biggest advisors for Carnegie. So how can one employee of Kroman Reumert, or partner, or whatever he wants to be called, submit a criminal complaint against one of his colleagues in the end, or trial a complaint against one of his colleagues? So this has to stop right now, this kind of discussion about who's right and right. There is a very simple situation today. We have documented by the Danish Financial Supervising Authority that Shape Robotics was the victim of a pump and dump. I have documented so clearly the scheme of extraction and who are the companies and who has done and what they have done. I didn't have time to submit the criminal complaint ourselves during my mandate between the two bankruptcies because it was something that required us to prepare with lawyers and everything, and I was mostly interested into saving the company with the EGM, and we were almost ready to do that. So that complaint is 95% done. So of course that has to get some sort of attraction. But the idea is they should have gotten some sort of attraction. So, but the idea is that the interests of the creditors today require Thais to submit a criminal complaint against Carnegie. That's his obligation. And by not doing that and not informing us and not at least put it in some sort of an investigation inside the company or trying to do something which we need to know publicly as shareholders of Shape Robotics about that, he's not doing his job. So this is the supreme proof about the fact that Thais is not working in the interest of the creditors. And I will repeat this every day from now on. So the creditors of Shape Robotics would want to receive, including shareholders in this situation, would want to receive compensation from the Carnegie Lars Stockholm scheme. This is something that has to be investigated by the police. It has to be transformed into a civil lawsuit, and money has, after the penal part will be, of course, investigated, the criminal part, and there has to be a strong repayment or payment on these claims. So we are talking about tens of millions of crowns, which are money that belong to the creditors and the shareholders, and this money has to be recuperated. And we have done the heavy lifting, the hard part. We have proven the pump and dump. So right now we just need to prosecute it. So we need to inform the authorities in a correct way and start the process of reclaiming that loss. And Thais is blocking this. Basically, this is the situation where we are. It's not about me being a flat earther or the whole situation. We are simplifying it as much as possible today. And we're talking from a simple perspective that it's not easy, it's not hard to understand by nobody. The interest of the creditors and the shareholders require Thais today to file that criminal complaint, or will require anybody that will take the role of Tice, or the company will become restructured or insolvent or bankrupt or whatever, whoever will be trustee and lawyer will immediately submit that criminal complaint. I guarantee you that. The only person that doesn't do that is Tice, because he is heavily conflicted. So this is what we wanted to discuss and make sure that everybody understood. At the same way that I had some sort of a understanding today, by of course, being caught up in the middle of this scandal every day, it's very hard to detach and look from a different perspective. I have different, um, how to say, also, I get influenced, I get scared, I get sometimes stressed. I don't look at things 100% like an external professional part could look at this matter. But right now, I think that through this intervention today, I managed to summarize in a very simple, tangible, strategic way the real situation at Shape Robotics under bankruptcy today. Let's have some questions. By the way, I don't know if Bo is connected. He wrote to me. Uh, Let me just open the email. Bo, I don't know if you're connected here. He wrote a message to me asking me if I know if I have any idea what Tice is doing with the company now. I don't know. I don't know. What do you mean, Jorgen? Isn't Tice obligated to try to? Isn't Tice obligated to try to what? Tice has started to claim money against the DNO insurance, so at least from this perspective, we have seen some movement, but Tice is not looking to discuss about the pump and dump and that situation that I have presented. So he's trying to claim against me for bad management or whatever. So, anyways, at least from this perspective, he's doing his work. So he is claiming on the DNO insurance. I think this is what he's doing. So. For this part, I think he's doing his job. Okay, I cannot discuss whether um, it's me or another member of the board or the board that will have the liability on this one or whatever. I don't want to get into that topic right now. But from a perspective of a curator, he's doing the right thing. So he's claiming against the DNO insurance, which is to be appreciated. So tell me, Jorgen, did this answer your question? He's also asking me, "Hello, my friend. How can you hold up the spirit?" Yes, I can hold up. I can hold up the spirit because I know, you get to a point in your life where there is there are more important things than a payday or yourself or your ambition, or it's more about trying to correct some mistakes that might affect also others in similar ways. So I truly believe that the case of Shape Robotics today is a lesson for many investors also, because you can easily fall victim to situations like the ones in Shape. It is especially very delicate when you're talking to a small market like Denmark, where the number of professionals is, of course, very small, and the market is so tight and everybody knows everybody. And I I'm pretty sure that a lot of other CEOs and board members have seen this story occurring also in Denmark and also in other countries, and have just buried the case and make it go away. In this kind of behavior that might lead to bankruptcy, might lead to it disappearing the problem, or it might lead to you're corrupting yourself with just joining such factions like the ones with which Lars Stockholm was the head of. So I truly believe that by us explaining and trying to be as direct and as honest as possible, of course, by admitting also that we have made mistakes, by admitting that we are not perfect, by admitting that um, um, we will try to correct as much as possible the things we have learned from this experience, and of course, it's important that we try to share it and to try to bring some sort of clarity to everybody that is on the other side of the table. Like I said yesterday, the retail investors who basically are kept in the dark by the system in the way it's designed to lack communication and transparency. So, long story short, I'm trying right now, as things are progressing, to structure as best as possible my experience in the last months in Shape, and to try to share it in also more educative way, and not talking necessarily day to day maybe about Shape. I will try to explain also how I see it from economical perspective, how I see it from a educational perspective, as there are a lot of points that somebody can take from what happened at Shape right now, and of course, system vulnerabilities, corporate policy vulnerabilities, and human vulnerabilities in general. So um, I will try to focus also in the next days and weeks coming to diversify a little bit the way we see this matter, because again today it was important for me because I had like some sort of epiphany, in the sense that by being so deeply involved in the day-to-day operations and trying to do only tactical things, it's hard to see also the other side. So I believe that the most important element in such a asymmetric situation like ours is to try to make yourself heard as easily and simply as possible and understood by everybody that is watching. So I will try to structure it in the next days and weeks and months in such a way that this becomes also a learning experience. Because in the end, uh, um, we owe it to ourselves to try to protect others from situations like this one, because it's extremely frustrating on what happened, especially with that pump and dump. Everybody's trying to park it in a corner that it's just as a simple thing. No, it's very bad. It's done by managing director of an investment bank, one of the most important analysts in the market, and it has to show you something. It has to change something. We cannot um, leave it as it is. It is not normal. It's not possible. And of course, this is should be the biggest challenging point today. Is this Carnegie criminal complaint going forward, or is Thai stopping it? That's basically good. Any other questions? From this light, every time that I speak with you, it's making me sleepy. Too much light in my face. Good, guys. I will disconnect. I will pause the episode, and again, keep in mind something very important. I think this is the most important aspect of the whole scenario, is what happens and who is protecting this criminal complaint of not going through. So Shape has a claim against Carnegie, and this claim has to be nurtured and protected by anybody who's in charge of Shape. So Thais has the obligation right now to fulfill this to submit this claim and to continue this investigation. This for sure. This is no other discussion should happen right now other than this one. We have to keep focusing on this one. Thank you. Have a good evening, and I will keep you posted with anything else in the meantime. Ciao, bye bye.